Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We are Baltimore positively coming at you with the Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by the Maryland Lottery. A lucky batch. Had some real winners last week at Coco's, including in the middle of the show when I got my little zapper out on the QR code. Winner, $20. We're going to be doing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour at some new locations after Thanksgiving, but before Christmas. Some holiday visits, including with some of our sponsors and friends, including this guy who's joined me out on the Maryland Crab Cake Tour, but didn't make it to Coco's last week on Wednesday or down to Pizza John's on Friday. We had just great conversations about a lot of Orioles, a lot of off-season stuff, but Leonard Raskin, of course, managing money out there, celebrating things. Last week it was the Crab Feast in Game 7. This week I'm sure it's Ovechkin and his big goal, but certainly the biggest thing for me and what I do for a living here, former We Never Stop Talking Baltimore Sports, is, hey, the Ravens, we have a real season here all of a sudden at 4-5. And I think more than that, seeing the Steelers stumble on Sunday night, seeing what happened to the Bills, hope springs fall, I guess, here for the Ravens in November. But there is a real season. It was a lot different here a month ago, man.
The leaves are falling and the division's falling, so it's good. I was hoping the Colts would lose, just trying to balance out some of the teams ahead, but 3 in a row. We said 4 weeks ago, we said they got to go 9-2. So they're 3-0 on the path to 9-2. And so now we've got 8 left?
Yeah,
6-2.
For me, with these three, obviously winning on the road in Minnesota was not thought to be easy. We now look at Cleveland and the Jets and say, well, these are going to be easy games.
I don't think they'll be easy.
That's what Buffalo thought going to Miami, right?
Right. And Cleveland and the Jets at least played each other hard. But yeah, I don't think anything's easy. You can see that across the league. Everybody that thinks somebody's easy, next thing you know, you're losing that game. Like you said, look at Miami. Were they 1-6, 1-7, whatever? They got their second win against Buffalo. It's ridiculous.
You know, when I talk about baseball with people, and I'm going to have a lot of baseball conversations this week because I had Greg Abel on last week. I had Ron Cassie from Baltimore, big baseball people. Even John Hoey from the Y came on. We talked turkey trot, but we're really talking about baseball. That baseball's so unfair. And it's this time of the year where it's like Mr. Rubenstein has to spend this on that, but you'll never catch the Yankees, you'll never catch the Dodgers. This is really where the socialism of the NFL and everybody having the same amount of money and it being punitive to the teams that do well and helpful to the teams that do poorly in the draft, that it does beget fair fights every week.
I think also the other thing, other than your division, right? I mean, I don't follow it exactly because I'm not that in, but other than your division, don't last place teams play last place teams and first place teams play first? You play a harder schedule based on your position.
It's on the margins based
on.
It's only 3 or 4 games, but it is games.
But that matters.
Correct.
That
yes,
matters.
It does.
We're playing Kansas City and we're playing Buffalo and we're playing, the Rams, and Cleveland's out there playing who?
Yeah, right.
Atlanta and Houston and the Jets and whatever. Obviously, New England's got a different team this year, but the schedule begets difficulty. I think for us, the difficulty was early.
Well, everything about it is set up to assist the teams that did poorly in recent times,
step up,
right?
Step up. And so we should have easier games. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Nothing in this league is easy. But if you look at the schedule coming, it should be easier. And across the board, we got to go, 6-2.
Well, this is where like a team like New England that looked like a lamb early on now looks like they're roaring like a lion.
Well, and they put themselves in a great position. Look, their coach is strong. I think anybody that didn't think so was crazy. And it shows the value of coaching, doesn't it? I mean, it absolutely points out what the value of coaching is. But then you look across the state there, a little bit up north, and you look at Pittsburgh, and I don't know. I think Tomlin is phenomenal. I think he's as straight as they come. I think he's a phenomenal coach. But he ain't getting out of his guys what his guys have. I don't know what you can't say what's going on there. I mean, I guess the Aaron Rodgers phenomenon is not what everybody thought it was, and the most expensive defense in the league. I think when I watch a couple games of theirs, they're playing like players instead of like a team, and that doesn't bode well for
The
their
league is so
defense.
weird with the celebrations and the me and how WWE it's
Yeah,
become when you watch Red Zone and see all the
right,
celebrations and all of that
right.
stuff. But you also see body language, and I don't love Lamar's body language a lot of times, but man, that Vikings wide receiver Jefferson, he's got all these television
Yep,
commercials and
yep, yep,
he's a
yep.
great player. He's in the Hall of Pretty Good.
Phenomenal.
Boy, the whole body language on him all day Sunday was I
Was
was kind
good.
of shocked
Was good.
as a fly-in fan and seeing a whole afternoon of him getting targeted 12 times. By the way, that quarterback's not good. That Vikings quarterback,
Well, he's a rookie out of Michigan. He won when they cheated. So it's easy to win when you know the other team's plays before they come. Have to say that as an Ohio State fan. They did get
you never get thrown
sanctioned.
off my show for calling the Hardballs liars or cheaters because I would
They
just
did
agree
get
with you. Yes.
sanctioned heavily, fined. The only thing they didn't do, the NCAA didn't do, was take away their national championship. They took away scholarships. They fined them a lot of money. They sanctioned their coaches. Mind you, they only made the coaches miss the games against nobody, but they hit them hard. They said absolutely positively they cheated, and they were caught, and they got big ugly hit. And J.J. McCarthy was the quarterback. So okay, he missed a lot of throws. That's good for us. And I think just like you said about Lamar, we've talked about it. When he gets down, when he has an upset about something early, it's hard for him to put that away and come back and play in the game. And I think you saw with Jefferson, he got shut down a little bit, and he got a little angry, and he wasn't happy.
I didn't even see him competing after interceptions. After interceptions, he throws his arms down to not tackle the guy. I'm like, dude, that's not a good look on tape. It's just
It's a
not.
it's a good look for us.
Well, I mean, and it does speak to where the Ravens have been and the body
Yep.
language of 1-5
Yep.
and the body language. And, and Kyle Hamilton always has this maturity about him
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
see him,
Speak.
front facing. And Luke speaks to this behind closed doors,
Yep.
but just what they've accomplished, nothing at this point, but
And he said it
everything they want to accomplish is like literally sitting
right
there
in front
for
of
them.
him. Right in front of him. Look, we got 5 games in the division still. 5. You got Joe Flacco twice. You got Aaron Rodgers twice, and maybe Shador Sanders next week. I don't know.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
What
I'm
do you
having my
think?
Cleveland dudes on the show here this week. Don't say that.
Who's gonna play? I mean,
They're not bringing Joe back.
no,
Bernie
no.
Kosar's unavailable. Brian
Right.
Sykes.
I think he's out of the pocket.
Vinny's
So-
golfing right now. So.
Right, Vinny's busy. So you got 5. You got 5 division games, and I dare say 5 winnable games. I think the Bengals are still going to be tough.
Boy, that's
Joe's still gonna
spicy to
throw-
think if they go 5-0 the rest of the way in their own division, they win the
It's
division.
over.
I mean,
It's
right?
over.
But I mean, that's spicy to think
Okay,
that
so
happens because it's really hard to do.
let's say that's where they eat their 2 losses. A loss here, a loss there.
At Green
So-
Bay, New England's coming here. They got other games.
Right. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Look, you can't. I always like when people say, I always wonder where this language came from, right? You're a master in the language. That's what you do. Where did the saying dig out of a hole come from? You can't dig out of a hole. You got to climb out of a hole. Now, we can't dig out of this hole. Yeah, well, if you got a shovel, you ain't going up. You're just digging further.
Hadn't thought of that, but you've just educated me, Leonard. That's why you're here. You're here to
The 1
humor
in
me and
5
educate me.
The 1 in 5 is a big hole, and you need a big ladder to get out of there.
Shoots and
5
ladders. I
5
learned that.
Right, right. 5 and 5 would be lovely, but you ain't gone nowhere yet. But the good news is the rest of the division's coming back to us. So
Well, the real question here is you wear your lavender shirt. By the way, Leonard Raskin is here from Raskin Global. He manages money in the American Dream. You can find him at raskinglobal.com. Also find him on the front of WNST and Baltimore Positive as always. The competition and looking at the
Yes.
field, and I've been doing some AI training here this weekend, so I'm getting myself up to speed and market analysis and all this. You always want to see where everybody else is. And when you look around the league And not just the division, not just the conference, the entire league. There's no super team. And
No.
that has come through. Now, maybe the Rams are emerging as a pretty good operation. The Eagles won last year. The Lions are going to be good. I mean, you feel about all that. But the
Right.
Bills, the Chiefs, and the Ravens, all the stock was down on all of them at one
Every
point
one of
or
them.
another in
Yep.
October, November.
Yep.
Right now, the stock's down on Buffalo, but they're 6-3. Whole different
Yeah.
position than 4-5.
Yeah.
But they're chasing New England, and they're going to play each
Right.
other as well. So these
Absolutely.
divisions will sort themselves out. My question is, if the Ravens handle their business and
Yep.
win the division, it doesn't matter whether they win 11
Yeah.
games, 10,
Doesn't
9,
matter. Doesn't
whatever. If
matter.
they win the division, they'll get a
Yes.
home game.
Yes.
That might be the booby prize of seeing Kansas City or Buffalo because they don't win their division. A. B, you'd also look at it and say, if we've got to go to Indianapolis or Denver or Los Angeles to play his brother to be a road team in the
Yep.
playoffs
Yep.
for week 2 and 3, because you better win your
Yeah.
division.
Absolutely.
They have to win the division no matter that. That's their real playing this wild card game at 10-7 and like getting me in.
Crazy.
That would be a bad scenario to be losing to the Steelers, because the Steelers are the only other team that can win the division at this point.
Right.
Win the division at any cost, at any race, whatever
Yep.
you have
Yep.
to
Yep.
do. Then you get a home game. But the notion that like you go to Denver and see Bo Nix or go to Indianapolis, or that Kansas City or Buffalo would go to one of those places
Right.
and knock them out. And now I still don't want to see Buffalo or Kansas City in the playoffs here or there.
I think
But
you're
the
gonna
pathway
no matter what.
feels different because of the emergence of these other teams.
And because everybody has been vulnerable on tape. Look, these guys are studying. They're looking for how do we beat this team. And it's interesting. I watch the talking heads a little bit here and there, but pre-games and things like that. There's some guys out there I've heard the Ravens aren't going to lose another game. They say the Ravens are not going to lose another game.
Well, they're the most talented.
Straight through the Super Bowl.
They went to Minnesota and were a 4.5-point favorite and covered.
That's right.
That's
right.
How it's
and
perceived.
And I think the Vegas, I think we're 64% chance to win the division right now. We were favored to win the division when we were 2-5. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm so convinced they're going to win the division. I wouldn't bet on it because I wouldn't get long enough odds at this point, right?
That's right. But at 2-5, it wasn't even long. But who knows? Time will tell. We got a couple big games that they should win, and you don't want to take any of these games for granted. Ask Buffalo. You got to take the Jets. You got to take the Browns.
When I'm having my last piece
Browns
of pumpkin pie 2 weeks from Thursday, they better be 7-4. And if
that's exactly right.
7-5. Sorry, 7-5. And if they're 7-5, they're in the Catbirds' position to do anything they want to do, which is win the division. They're not going to be the 1 seed, I would think, at this point, right?
You would think not.
Or the 2 seed. They're not getting a bye, but they can get a home game.
It's okay.
And then put themselves in a position to maybe get another home game if one of these other teams get tripped up. So
that's right.
I don't look at their scenario and say they can't win the Super Bowl, but I do look at the offensive line and say it's not good enough. I do look at the pass rush and say they made it better last week.
They got it better.
And they've made the secondary better, and they've made the defense better by getting Kyle Hamilton up to the line of scrimmage. And they've gotten better by getting Roquan Smith healthier, and I think Teddy Buchanan's coming. I think the young guys in the secondary, and Starks and Wiggins and these guys, there's been some improvement.
That's right.
So
it's
seeing all of that and seeing that they're going into a weaker part of the schedule, this is where they should be picking up a 10-point and the 2-touchdown victory, and they should be, by Black Friday, feeling like a team we're talking about that nobody wants to see in January, that team that we've talked about for 9 months until they went 1-5 and started spitting up their lunch.
That's right. Now, let me ask you a in-game question while we're on this conversation here.
Okay, in-game. Go ahead.
So I watched the game. Last series for the offense, Lamar. We're under 2 minutes. 3rd down. I get it. We're trying to win. We throw the ball. Incomplete. 1:44 on the clock. Why would they throw the ball there? Why would anybody not run the ball? The Vikings had no timeouts. You left this kid with 1:44, and he almost did it. He could have done it.
This speaks to Harbaugh. I mean, go ahead. You're beating up on Harbaugh is what you're doing.
I don't know who made the call.
That's
If that's a
Harbaugh.
Monken
He's the head
call,
coach.
a Harbaugh call, a Lamar checked out of something, checked into something, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm just an idiot fan
It's just not smart
watching
football.
the game. A minute and 44. They have no timeouts. We run the ball. We don't get a first down. We
Well,
punt.
you play the market and what you do for
And they
money
have, I don't
on
play,
mitigating risk,
but
right?
yes,
Literally, right?
yes. A minute to go, and we win the game because they ain't scoring in a minute. You gave him a minute 44. The guy's running around like he's Lamar. He's running for 30 yards. He's running for 20 yards. I mean, my God, you gave him a minute and 44 to score. You could have given him a minute.
And he pissed away good 30, 40 seconds by not getting on the ball and dirt in it. Yeah.
Because he was useless. But I don't get the play call there. I don't understand when there's time is of the essence and time management.
A better quarterback would have put them in getting beat on Sunday. Something bad would have happened if they would have done that against a more responsible, team that managed the clock better.
Or against the Bills or against the Chiefs. Mahomes, they'd have come down and scored with a minute and 44. You have to leave the opponent as little opportunity as possible. Did you watch the New England game? Did you see any of the New England game?
I did.
So how about my boy Henderson, right? OH. Boy, the Buckeyes are having a hell of a time in the league this year. But he's running.
This used to be where I kick you in the nuts and say, well, they get paid enough. Now they get paid enough.
They get paid enough.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But he's running for a touchdown, and he's looking at the bench. Have you ever seen this in your life?
Should I go in or should I not?
Bench. Should I score or not? And apparently they gave him a thumbs up when he scored a touchdown, his second of the day. But it was crazy. I've never seen anything like that. But that's the thing. He was at least thinking time, situation, score. I don't have it all, but I'm far enough ahead I can ask the coach.
What is funny when a guy in the middle of the game in that circumstance stays in bounds and has the opportunity to stop the clock and doesn't. How many times have we seen professional athletes in their 20s, in their 30s make that mistake week after week, college, pro, where whatever college
that will stop the clock when they should have gone out or go out when they should have stayed in.
And we blame the coaches. And we say coaches should have told them about game situational management, all that, right?
That's
mitigating
right.
risk,
This is what you do. That's exactly right. The goal is to get almost all of everything to win instead of a chance at something and hope.
Maximize all up. That's what I'm doing with AI, by the way. I'm doing some AI learning. Leonard Raskin is here. You said the word goal. And I've been doing goal setting all weekend here. I'm back into my Robbins AI goal setting. But there's only one goal that mattered, and that was Ovechkin's goal the other day, right? That's your goal.
The 900 goal. So he's come out of the gate a little slow. The Caps came out strong. Then they kind of fell back a little bit. And people, of course, from the outside watching in, unlike me, but like me, say, well, Ovechkin's too old now. He needs to sit. He shouldn't be on the power play. They're not scoring. They're in a little drought. They got a couple guys hurt. They'll kick it back up. But sure enough, he played his 1,500th game this week, passed, and he scored his 900th goal, which is, look, the record was unheard of. Now 900. So obviously now every time he scores a goal, it's a record. Because he has the record.
So that's 50 goals a season for 18 seasons.
Unbelievable. And he's 40, whatever, and pumping in goals. Just 900. It's a number that's unfathomable. And, all the critics say, well, he's old, he's slow, whatever. But he now has, if you took his goals, I think the stat is only his goals, 3% of the league that ever played would have more points or as many points as he has just in his goals at 900. It's ridiculous. And past week they had a great game. They lost, sadly. Too many penalties. Wasn't great officiating, but, life goes on. They played Pittsburgh, and all the talk was Alex and Sid. They came in the league together. They've played against each other now for all these years, both on the same team they
By the
started
way,
with,
it
which is
speaks well
also
of the NHL and it speaks
unheard of.
poorly of the NBA and some of the other sports that we can be at this point where guys could stay with a team their whole career. That's a
Absolutely.
benefit to the NHL. It really is.
Well, how about Connor McDavid in Edmonton? Have you seen his contract?
Staying
Did
there
you
for
see
less
any of
dough,
that?
right? Yeah.
Like nothing. He got
Yeah.
nothing. He took nothing. He wants to win a cup in Edmonton for Edmonton, and he said, "I'm staying here. I'm playing here," and he took nothing. And so that again, like you said, tribute to the league. It's just amazing. But what's stunning is to see Alex and Sid still go at it. Not exactly like they're 25, but pretty damn close, hard at each other. Alex, and then you also have what's his name for Pittsburgh? Oh my God, why can't I think of his name? Crosby and Malkin. You got Evgeny Malkin's played there forever in Pittsburgh. You got these three guys that have been on the same teams their whole careers, and unbelievable shine on the league, and just amazing hockey. And then there's these kids in the league now. You got some new, young, fresh blood, and last 2 years, number one picks are leading the league in scoring.
Well, I mean, I look down and
Hope.
see Colorado and Anaheim. By the way, I saw Colorado wearing the Quebec jerseys.
Yeah.
I have to talk to some hockey people about that, and I got to get my boy Todd Radom back on. I just had him on talking about ugly uniforms recently. He wrote a whole book on hockey uniforms. He loves hockey uniforms, but I thought that was a little tacky. I mean, and I'm a guy with an Oiler, Derrick Henry jersey.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. They did it. Who were they playing that night? Whoever they played did the same thing. They were two teams that had moved to their respective cities, and they wore the.
I hope
jerseys.
Carolina wasn't wearing the Hartford Whalers jerseys that night, were they?
Whatever it was, it might have been. Somebody was wearing against them the jersey of their lost last city. So they made it like a throwback thing. But boy, these uniforms, they change every week.
By the way, and I would say this for people who aren't in the NHL thing, and I'm not any longer, it's like talking auto racing to me when we talk hockey. I went to dinner with Trotz last week up in Philadelphia. By the way, I went to the Philly Four Seasons, not the one in the parking lot, the one downtown, the one in Rittenhouse.
Right.
That Four Seasons I went to with him. And I didn't get confused and go to Jersey or anything. But I talked to him about hockey, and I'm around all hockey people because we're literally in the Four Seasons in Philly, not the one in the parking lot. And there were Predators fans everywhere because we're in the hotel bar. And Trot started talking hockey stuff with me, and I'm like, I don't follow it anymore. She's like, yeah, okay, I got it. And I'm out of it. But there was a point for me about a week and a half ago where I was rummaging through my closet, and I was like putting my summer shirts away and getting my winter shirts out. And in my closet, I have my sports stuff. So I have my Oriole Aparicio jerseys, my white one, my orange one.
Yep.
I have my White Sox Aparicio, the cool looking one from '69. I have Oilers. I have my Dan Pastorini, my Earl Campbell.
There you go.
I have my Tony Gwynn jersey.
Right.
I have my Skipjacks jersey. So, I mean, these are the jerseys these are my personal. I got a dozen jerseys.
Right, the collection.
My nasty Raven stuff and all of my Raven stuff, all of my Oriole stuff, my Palmer stuff.
Yep.
Like, it's in a box. It's going to wind up on eBay. It's all my Raven stuff's going to wind up getting eBayed at some point. And I have ridiculous amounts of copious amounts of sellable Raven stuff based on what I see on eBay. You can have the money when I give it. You can go do something with it.
There you go.
Because you're my money guy, Leonard Raskin. So I look, and there it is. My first Nashville Predator blue jersey from 1998. I bought that at the mall in White Marsh when they were a franchise that nobody knew what they were. Right. And I bought it to honor Trotsky because they had it there. I saw it, and I'm like, I'm going to buy that. That's good looking. And then through all the years, that franchise began in 1999. I had this conversation in the bar. So they're a 27-year-old franchise at this point. And they've changed. They've never won a cup. They've played hard. I was in Nashville for a minute last Thursday. They're a sensation there. I mean, there's Predator stuff everywhere. There's a Predators restaurant in the airport. Like,
the place is packed all the time.
The Predators are a real brand, real serious brand.
Good fan base.
And Trotsky, back when they were not so good and they were 20 22 years ago, 22 years ago, my wife and I got married. We went to Nashville, and I would always go to Nashville and go to games.
Right.
Trotz would leave me
Sure.
tickets, Fang Fingers.
Sure.
I
Sure.
was a real Predators fan. I traveled to see them.
Right.
I've seen the Predators play in 15 rinks in the league. I mean, literally, I've seen the Predators
Got it.
play in Chicago, LA, Miami, Tampa, Philadelphia. I mean, I've seen the Predators play in Detroit. I've seen the Predators play a lot of places. My relationship with Barry's real. I
Yeah.
traveled
Sure.
for years and years. He made me a jersey. He
Ah,
made me a mustard when they brought the mustard jerseys in.
right.
He
Right.
made me a gamer that
That's
says
awesome.
nasty on the back and number one. It looks like
That's
a
awesome.
goalie jersey. And it's
Yeah.
big and it's padded and it's
For
hanging
real.
there.
For
And it's
real.
been hanging. I haven't put it on in, oh my God. I mean, I gave the Predators up when he left in the Caps. Like
Right.
we're going back at least a decade and a half
Sure.
now.
Sure.
And I got it out, and he's now the president of the team. And I'm thinking to
Yep.
myself, I got to put that back on and go down to a hockey game in Nashville sometime.
Absolutely.
I got to do that.
They're a good crowd.
I love hockey, Leonard. You know that. I just want to. I'm even telling this story because, like, I have so much blood on the bricks with hockey, and because of Leonsis and his prick kid, I just, once they won the cup, and they did what they did to Barry, and they did what they did to me. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I had one of the nastier conversations I've ever had with any human. Zach Leone just spoke to me like I was a dog, and that was the end. And I was just sort of like, you know what? I don't need to get in my car and go fight hockey. I don't need to get. I went down New York
Right.
Avenue 2 weeks ago or last week to go to the 930 Club. First time I've been to the
Yeah.
930 Club
Yeah.
in 10 years, you know?
Right.
And I drove into DC and I said to my wife, I used to do this 15, 20 times a year to go to hockey games because
same.
of my love for Barry Trotz and
Yeah,
my
sure.
thought that the Capitals were Baltimore's team. And I learned that they weren't when they won the Stanley Cup and lied to me
Didn't come.
and didn't come after
Yep.
50 years of supporting the team. So
Yep.
if you see Ted Leone, just give him both my middle fingers and on behalf of what he did to Trotz. But I looked at the hockey thing as a little bit of a time issue for me. Like, I'm not into the Capitals. I'm not
Right.
into the
Right.
Predators as much as I'm into Barry Trotz, but
Right.
probably going to be a Predators fan the rest of my life because that's the jersey that's hanging downstairs. I don't
There
have
you
an
go.
Ovechkin jersey, and I liked Ovechkin, and I like my time covering the team, other than the prick PR guy, the Russian PR guy that they had, who was a jerk all during Trotz's admit. Like, I would always say to Trotz, I'm like, what's up with that guy? Same thing I would say to Billick about Chad Steele. Like,
Right.
why is that guy got to be a jerk? But nonetheless, the Capitals, like, I love the Capitals my whole life.
Yep.
But I love hockey. So I'm trying to, you're one of my hockey friends. Drag me to a game or something one day.
There we go.
I'm
Worth
ready
the
to get
do.
in and be a hockey fan. I'm just not going to be a Caps fan. That's all. That's
Right.
how
Right.
I don't want to be a Flyers fan or a
No,
Hershey
hell no.
Bears fan, but I love
yeah.
hockey. I miss going to games.
Hershey
That means
Bears have some cool stuff, and they have some cool stuff on Teddy Bear Night. You know, when they do the Teddy Bear
everybody
throws.
goes on Teddy Bear night.
Right. Well, you got to go.
Everybody
a different
goes the
night.
night they give you the free ticket for next year.
Right.
Remember?
That's what it's all about.
Well, hey, I'll go to a Hershey Bears game anytime.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to jump out there.
All right. Did you ever see a game at the old Hershey Park Arena?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Of course.
That's hockey.
Right.
That's the
Well, it's
good
like-
old hockey game, the
it's-
best game you can name.
It's like when you used to go to a good skipjacks game in the Civic Center.
I ran into
Or a
Gary
Clippers-
Rissling 2 weeks ago.
Clippers game at the Civic Center.
You know who's
That's
really
where you go.
disappointed? Rissling, if you go up to Silver Spring Mining Company on Bel Air, Rissling's disappointed that I put the puck down. You know what I mean? So is Barry. I could feel Barry looked at me like he looked at me and he looked at me like he wanted to give me a kiss. You know, he's like, this is my game. Like, if I tell Ubriaco I don't watch hockey anymore, I mean,
pass out.
it's going to really upset him.
Yeah,
you
don't
know,
share. Don't share.
I mean, I'll leave you with this because I know our window's short and you got to run. You're doing money and I'm doing radio. Ubi, when I go back to being a 15-year-old kid sitting in that little room at the Baltimore Civic Center with my notebook with him, and he looked at me and his whole thing, and this is to the love of my career and everything I've ever done for 40 years. He looked at me, he's like, I want to teach you hockey. I want to teach you how it really works. And that's how Marvin Lewis was. That's how good people. You want to teach me how money works, right? Like literally, right? Like that's literally, and that's out of Trotz and Ubi, out of respect to them. I've decided in this conversation that I'm going to come back to hockey for the love of hockey, but not for the pursuit of hockey. You know what I
There
mean?
you go. There you go. Just catch a good night where all the teams are playing. Watch a couple great games. The sport is faster than ever. They're bigger. They're stronger. They're tougher. The goal scoring is amazing. What these guys are doing is just unreal.
I never had a bad time at a hockey game. I'll be
Me
honest with
neither.
you.
I've gone to other cities to watch other teams. I did have one bad time at a hockey game. Two bad times.
Well, when you lost the cup to the Red Wings in '98,
to the Red Wings, and
I was
when
at that
Pat
game.
when Pat LaFontaine scored in the middle of the night.
That was a bad one too.
Two bad nights at the hockey game.
You know, the craziest thing, dude, is I'm such a hockey guy, and I go to Canada and like all of this, and
Yeah.
I know the game inside now and the history of the game
Right.
and all of that stuff. But like, I went to Philadelphia last week to see Bryan Adams on the night when Pierre Robert died, and I'm in the hockey
Sure.
rink, and
Sure.
I'm in a lower bowl seat, and all I could think about being in that arena. And
Yep.
all the years at the Spectrum, but I'm in that arena and I'm thinking about Lindros getting a clock by Stevens. I'm
Ugh.
thinking about being up on the roof when the Caps eliminated the Flyers with Trotz. I'm thinking
Yep.
about being in the front row seat that I had that Tony Seaman got me a front row seat for a Caps Flyers game where I was on the glass, beating on the
Yeah,
glass, heckling
yeah.
the Flyers. This is before Gritty even existed.
Right,
So,
of
like,
course.
yeah.
Nonsense.
All
Gritty.
right.
So silly.
You know, you got me talking about hockey in November. See how happy hockey
There we
makes
go.
me, Leonard?
There
you know?
we go. It's good stuff.
All those nights down in Tampa watching the dry ice off the ice. Leonard Raskin manages money at Raskin Global. I manage Baltimore Positive. AI likes me. That's all that matters at this point. I'm going to AI school. So I'll be checking in. I'll be doing some more AI and some more happiness segments here now that I've discovered Tony Robbins again. He's Leonard. I'm Nestor. We are WNST. AM 1570 Towson, Baltimore. We're Baltimore Positive. Stay with us, please.